honest.
Definitely gonna like decrease your literature level. Emotionally, physically, mentally destroyed me. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm gonna be stating my opinions on popular Booktok books. Most of these are YA. I think some of them might be adult, but I'll let you guys know. I have a fat stack, and some of them I read online or I borrowed them from the library, so I have my Goodreads here, and I'm just gonna be going through the red ones and saying what I think. And let's just say I used to be very I used to try to love books as much as possible, but after like a month after I've read it, I'm very honest about if you should read them or not. Yeah, so let's just get started. Okay, I have a big stack. I'll show you guys a little. If you see it, that's just the top of it. It's just gonna be on my lap. We're gonna be going from, I'll just pick one. Okay, so this book is actually the book that got me into reading in 2022 when I was in grade 7, January. I specifically remember this. I got this book January 1st. I finished it January 2nd. So it was such a good book, and it does the inheritance games. You either love this or you hate this. If you guys want a little bit of a backstory of what this is about, the main character, her name is Avery Grams. She ends up getting an inheritance from a billionaire named Tobias Hawthorne. In order to get the inheritance, she has to live with 4 Hawthorne brothers for a whole entire year, and basically she just got billions of dollars for no reason. But I don't really think that's the case. So while reading this book, you find out why she gets the money. Well, because not even in this book. You have to read until like the 3rd book until you find out all the mysteries. And there's another book coming out soon, I think. I forgot what it's called. And I also read The Brothers Hawthorne. That one was okay. I feel like they could have ended it off on the final gambit and it would have totally worked out. But yeah, I rate this book 3 out of 5 just because I feel like I've kind of matured past this. I read this when I was like 13, and now I'm almost... No, I read this when I was 12, and now I'm like a lot older than that. I recommend this though. I feel like younger for sure. Honestly, I feel like anybody could read this. Even like my sister, who's 10, could read this. It's so good. It's literally perfection.
I look, you want to have a nightmare first so I can beat her up.
Next, we're going to be talking about the infamous The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I read this, I think, in grade 8, but I got this from my school library, so I do not have it with me. To be honest, it was a really slow book. When I say it was so slow, I had to literally take it on a 3-hour road trip, so I could finish it and read it and finish it to the end, because it was so slow. The beginning was so slow. Like, I feel like I was also a tad bit younger than the like preferred audience for it. I think pretty sure it's an adult book, but there was nothing horrible on it. The ending pissed me off. She should have gotten a better ending. She did not deserve what happened. A little what I remember from it is it's about this girl who's cursed by not, how do I explain this? When she meets somebody, they immediately forget her. But for the first time ever, she meets somebody that remembers her. So it's like about her kind of like, oh my god, who is this guy? Why does he remember me? You know, and it's very interesting. It was really good though. I rate it a 5 out of 5 because actually a 4.5 out of 5 because I feel like it could have been better and a little more fast paced. And the book was also like just like really, hold on, like this is, well, you guys see this book. This is like a normal book and the book was like this big. So it was a lot. It was a lot to read. And since you guys saw this book, I guess we're gonna be doing A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This book, I put people onto this book. This book is like my pride and shoe. The show is good. If you don't think the show is good, like, it's good. They did good. Yeah. So this is about a girl named Pippa Fitzmaurice. For her grade 12 project, she decides that she's gonna solve a case that she assumes is ended, but she doesn't believe that the guy actually killed the girl. So backstory, if you don't know what this is about. Sal Singh is a senior and he has a girlfriend named Andy. But then Andy is found dead. As soon as they find out that Andy is deceased, they also find out that Sal, who what they think is that he committed. But Pippa does not believe that Sal actually committed. So she decides that she's gonna team up with Sal's brother, Ravi, to find out what happened to his brother and his brother's girlfriend. And honestly, it's so good. This book, I'm gonna rate it a 3.5 just because this is better. As Good as Dead is probably the best piece of writing I've ever read. It's like the amount of plot twists in this book is like, I'm not gonna mention Good Girl Bad Blood because it was honestly really good, but this is incredible. This is like a 7 million out of 10 out of 5 or whatever. Pippa, let's just say that the duct tape means something. I don't want to spoil too much, but it means something a lot, okay? she ends up finding out a lot more secrets in this, and some people die, some stuff happens, an axe is involved, somebody gets framed. That's all I can say. Okay, but you should read this book. Literally, if you love murder mystery and you want something a little more YA, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is perfect. It's literally perfect. It's like perfection. Literally perfection. I'm not even kidding. This series is the reason I'm still alive. Okay, next, I feel like we should go into the worst direction. Do not read this. Like, any age, do not read this. Ugly Love. That book isn't even, it shouldn't be called a book. Like, when I first read it, I was like, oh, this is okay. But then when I like rethought about it, I'm like, that is probably the worst piece of writing I've ever read, because the author, Colleen Hoover, other than her being a horrible person herself and like doing some awful things, her writing isn't good. Like, it's definitely gonna like decrease your literature level and your reading level, and it just like, it's not good. Don't read it. If you see a 12-year-old reading this book, snatch it out of their hands. That's unacceptable. Read this when you're like 85. Don't ever read it. It should not be read. I don't own this book. I got it from one of my friends. Do not own it. It's such a bad book. Let's just say they like, her writing fantasizes abuse and like makes it seem like, oh my god, abuse is good. Yeah, she's not a good author. She's not a good person. Do not watch It Ends With Us in theaters. Don't go watch it. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are not good people. Yeah, next. Guys, somebody wants to say hi. It's my sister. The next book that I'm going to be talking about is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This book emotionally, physically, and mentally destroyed me. I found this at like a shop. I didn't even buy it. Like, I did buy it, guys. But like, I found this at the shop that I decided to randomly go to, this bookstore. And I found this. I'm like, I should give it a try. I mean, it's $7. What could go wrong? So I bought it and I read it and I fell in love with it. Evelyn and all the characters, like, I feel like you get to see like a really big inside perspective of the lives of the famous and like what people have to go through, and it's just so good. They should make a movie. I don't know if there is a movie from this. They should make a movie from this. It's just about Evelyn Hugo, obviously, and her life in fame and her love life and the 7 husbands of Evelyn Hugo and how she goes through each husband and the abuse and the mental trauma that she has to go through. I feel like everybody should read this. It's just such a good book overall to like understand like the psychological view of how the acting industry can affect you, especially her. She deserves so much and more. I love Evelyn. I love you. I love you, Evelyn, so much. She's incredible. You guys should go read this. I feel like I should talk about another Colleen Hoover book, which I mentioned. It Ends With Us. I read It Ends With Us in grade 7. That's not very good. Don't read it in grade 7. Actually, don't ever read it. Unless you're like 21, then maybe read it. It's basically about this main character. Her name is Lily, and she has to go through the physical and mental abuse of Ryle, her boyfriend, who is her ex, and then she meets her ex-boyfriend and they get back together. It's a long story. His name is Atlas, and people always like this story. First of all, the writing is bad. The words are bad. They don't describe it good. Like I said before, her books romanticize abuse, and if you don't know what Colleen Hoover did, I recommend you search it up. It's really, really bad. And the way that they just turned this into a film and people are bawling their eyes out, like, I haven't seen it, nor will I be seeing it. I just don't feel like they represented it good, because they like aged up the characters so much, even though like, okay, whatever, just not my cup of tea. And I like gave it a chance. I was like, maybe I'll like it, maybe I like it. I did not like it. And also, I did not read It Starts With Us. I did not read It Starts With Us. I don't think I'll ever read It Starts With Us, to be honest. I rate that a 0 out of 10, a 0 out of 5, a 0 out of everything. It's bad. Don't read it. You'll Be Home Now by Kathleen Glasgow. If you guys are from my TikTok, which I'm assuming all of you are, you guys would know that Kathleen Glasgow is my best friend. She's basically like, she should just follow me at this point. Like, we should be mates. Basically, this is about substance abuse, and it's about this girl, her name is Emery, who has to go through a lot of trauma because of her brother who does substance abuse. And it's a big eye-opener to everything that's going on in like behind closed doors, and I feel like everybody should read this. It might be a little triggering to some people, but I did a school assignment on this book and my teacher loved it. I feel like this is perfect for anybody, and it's not too big. How many pages is it? It's 378 pages, so it's pretty short actually. Yeah, but if you like learning about like anything mentally, 5 out of 5, guys. I love anything by Kathleen Glasgow. Kathleen Glasgow, you're my girl. I love you. How much of an age gap do we have? Probably a big one. Speaking of Girl in Pieces, this is Girl in Pieces. You probably have seen this in all my TikToks. I'm always holding it because I like how such an emotional attachment to this book. I feel like some people can't handle it because it has major triggers, and like it's very emotionally challenging. And if you can't read it, if you can't like emotionally handle it, you should not read it. Should I quote something? No, everything is really bad. I remember page 31, I think it was, literally had me bawling my eyes out. Yeah, if you guys want to go read this book, it's absolutely incredible. Trigger warning for SH. It's very prevalent in this book. But I like reading really messed up books. But I would give this a 7,000,000 out of 5. This is incredible. Read it at your own risk, though. Do not blame me for reading it, but then you're scarred by it. Read it at your own risk. Please don't blame me. If you hear dinging, it's my sister's iPad going off every 2 seconds. Honorable mentions are obviously the whole entire Shatter Me series. I don't think I have to say anything about that. Like, it's good. Read it. Like, I feel like if you haven't read Shatter Me, you're missing out. Some people don't like Shatter Me, but personally, I've loved it, and I felt like it was such like a good emotional attachment, especially because I got some representation inside that book. Nazira, she's from Iraq, which is like so amazing, and I loved it, and I love the Arabic, and the author is just so sweet. It was really good. I love it a lot. I recommend you read it. There's a lot of like people talk about it, and you're like, oh, I want to know what's going on, but the Shatter Me world, go read Shatter Me. It's really good. I really recommend. And finally, time for the last book that I'm going to be talking about. This book, I actually followed the author about 4 years ago when she, on TikTok, when she talked about a book idea, and now the book is out, and I read it, and I'm in love with it. That book is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. It's definitely like Hunger Games idea kind of inspired by, because it has everything that you'd want in a book, because she wrote it, and she's obviously kind of trying to relate to us. This is what it looks like. It has a sword, Powerless, on it. It's such a good book. It like released in America, but it took so long to release in Canada, so I didn't get to read it until like a year after the release. But when I finally got it, it definitely did not disappoint. It's about this world where there's hunters and there's the hunted, and it's just like hunters have like I'm pretty sure they have these like powers, and this girl ends up getting put into a trial because she told them that she's a hunter when she's being hunted, so she has no powers. Like her having to survive and people getting. It's really good. I really recommend this book. It's also just like so beautiful. See this? Like, I'm just reading some classical literature. Actually, I have read classical literature. I still need to read Reckless, but now that I'm older, I feel like I've kind of grown out of this genre, but I probably will still read it because I read this a bit ago. Anybody wondering what I'm reading right now? I'm reading If I Had Told Her, and I'm almost done it. It's the second book for If You Had Been With Me. I really recommend reading this. It's super good. If you can handle a little cringiness, then I don't recommend reading it, but if you can, these books are magical. I'm not even kidding, they're magical. But you guys want to see my bookmark? It's Natasha Romanoff. But anyways, these are all the books that I talked about, the physical books that I have, and these are all the books that I talked about but I did not have. I know I haven't really done a book video in a hot minute, but I love talking about books, and if you guys like this, I'll be sure to make more book videos. I gotta go reorganize my bookshelf now, but I'm absolutely destroying it by taking all these books. And if you guys want to send me books, please do. Like, anybody would send me books. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I will see you all on the next one.